energy forecast for Saturday, October 28th. So welcome to our full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. It is going to be quite a day. Of course, full moons are notorious for illuminating some wildness in our mood and our attitude and our emotions, bringing new awarenesses to the surface, and really pushing us to see where it is that we are moving on from certain aspects, circumstances, versions of our old reality. Because this lunar eclipse is pretty profound in the fact that it is closing a 2.5-year chapter, there is going to be a little bit more of an intensity, a little bit more of a struggle, if you will, to kind of stay grounded, to stay balanced, and to not be triggered by outside external activities. So, of course, there's a whole astro forecast about this particular moon event that I'm going to welcome you to take a listen to. I'm going to welcome you to also download the moon guide, the Scorpio season e-guide as well. There's all kinds of content out there in order for you to be fully prepared and get in alignment with this particular energy. Of course, if you want to do a deep dive in this whole eclipse chapter and what this means and what we've been working on for the past 2.5 years and what we're moving into, I'm definitely going to recommend you jump over to my Patreon. We did a third astro class focusing in on this eclipse edition. And from what I've been exploring, it is truly helping people kind of connect the dots on what it is that the tough love life lessons we're trying to teach them for the past 2.5 years to prepare them for this present moment where we're closing this particular door and opening up a new one. So there is definitely a lot of energy going on here today. Definitely going to be hard to navigate. A whole lot of ascension symptoms coming with these particular energy zaps and energy shifts. Now, outside of all of the aspects taking place in the exact moment of that full moon lunar eclipse, we actually have 8 different aspects taking place in the overview of the day. 4 of them are actually going to be involving the moon. So that's a pretty interesting dynamic to explore as well. Of course, we have a huge list of helpful and I'm going to say tension-filled aspects that are taking place at the moment of the peak full moon energy. And again, you can download the moon guide in order to explore all those aspects and how they're manifesting in your lives. So we do have the moon still in the Aries energy. We will see that Aries energy moon go void, of course, at 4:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we shift into the Taurus energy at 7:45 a.m. Of course, we have to build towards that 5th degree that the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus will be taking place at, and of course, that's going to be popping off in its most potent form at 4:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we start off with the moon in Aries, still before going void, of course, getting into the boxing ring with Pluto, the great transformer himself, who's in his rulership in the Scorpio seeing as he does rule over Scorpio energy. But Pluto is direct in Capricorn energy, giving us a lot of power to boss ourselves up, to take control back over our lives, to step into our creator energy. But the moon interacting with Pluto in this way, of course, a square is not so much fun. It highlights the tension and the conflict in order for us to truly realize what it is that we have to address first and foremost in our lives. And at this particular juncture, we are exploring the frustration, the anger, the agitation, the restlessness that we're currently experiencing by wanting to take action and make moves, but of course being prevented from doing so because of this karmic wackadoodle eclipse energy that we're in. This is going to bring up and fester a lot of those aggressive type of energies, those frustrating type of energies as well. The whole point is to understand where it is that we're feeling blocked and restricted from taking action and making moves, and therefore bossing ourselves up in our inner realm, feeding the fire, fanning the flames in order to keep that inspiration, that motivation at a peak top energy so that we can come up with a plan and a strategy so that when we're gifted with the green light go ahead, we know exactly what it is that we need to tackle. So again, the moon in Aries energy goes void, of course, at 4:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We lock in to that Taurus energy at 7:45 a.m. Now, outside of the realm of this being a full moon, let alone a full moon on steroids being a lunar eclipse, if we were just transiting from Aries energy into Taurus energy, it always takes a little bit of a toll on us. We're moving from a very high potency inner realm fire, if you will, to a very fixed earth sign. So we're low, we're slow, we're low on physical energy. We want to stay present in the moment, where that Aries energy was kind of bouncing all around like a pinball machine. So there is always this abrupt stop, this abrupt slowing down, if you will. We're pumping the brakes really, really hard once we shift into that Taurus energy, because we kind of have to get our bearings. A fixed sign is about stabilization. And in order to do that, we have to become present and aware of this here and now, so that we can gauge what's going on in our physical bodies, what's going on in our external realm, and become very present, very aware, very aligned with our current circumstances. So 8:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the moon in Taurus energy now, making a very positive interaction, a sextile with Saturn. Saturn is the Lord of Karma. He rules over roles, responsibilities, structures, and foundations. He's retrograde in Pisces energy, helping us to dissolve and deconstruct the old version of self, the old ways of doing things, the old ways of thinking, of feeling, of belief, if you will, and the old circumstances that old version of our belief systems and that version of self has created. So this is a sextile, which means that this is an encouraging energy. It's nudging us in the right direction. We're taking a much more grounded approach now that we have the moon in Taurus energy. We're thinking logically, we're thinking practically, and we're trying to stay as present as possible in the here and now, and really observing the changes that are taking place within us, within our mental plane, within our emotional realm, and of course, within our external circumstances as well. This is kind of bossing us up. This is understanding where it is that we've outgrown certain situations and circumstances, and where it is that we are building in our self-confidence, in our self-esteem, to actually tackle these new roles and responsibilities coming with this new timeline, with these new soul contracts. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information communication, how it is that we express ourselves in this Scorpio energy, blending the best of both worlds, our logical, practical intellect with our emotional and intuitional realm. There's a lot of spiritual insight coming at us now that we're in Scorpio season, and doing a deep dive into the depths of the darkness of our soul, of our spirit, of our emotions. We're looking to unearth some blockages so that we can make the true transformation metamorphosis that we've been working on. We have Mercury interacting with Neptune. Neptune, of course, retrograde in his place of power in Pisces energy. This is a water on water action, and we can definitely gain a lot of perspective, a lot of insight, a lot of vision on what it is that we want to now be tackling, what we're letting go of, what we're surrendering, what we are changing, what we're transforming, especially in our mind space, on our vision, on our goals, on our dreams. And we're really kind of brave, if you will, tackling areas of fear, doubt, and insecurity that maybe we were too timid to kind of tackle in the days kind of preceding this particular aspect. We are bold and brave and courageous. We are persevering, damn well, and determined in the Scorpio energy to kind of flip the script and flip tables if need be, in order to really understand where it is that self-sabotage has got to go. We have dreams, we have visions, we have goals for ourselves, we have a higher mission, a higher truth, a higher purpose, and we can't let the low level vibration of fear, doubt, and insecurity continuously prevent us from getting on the path that we are meant to pursue. So this is going to be a little bit of I'm going to say dreaminess, a little bit of a fantasy land, moving into la la land, into that imaginational, creative type of realm, in order to bring forth down into our logical, practical mental plane some of the dreams, some of the visions, some of the insights that we are receiving from the higher form of intelligence, and trying to figure out what it is that we're now going to do with that. Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, in his rulership in the Scorpio energy, is going to sit across from, directly opposed, Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings, who is retrograde in this Taurus energy. Scorpio and Taurus energy sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. One is a fixed water sign, the other is a fixed earth sign, and what we get between water and earth is a lot of growth. Just think of of watering some seeds, right? You got to water those seeds in order to make them grow and burst through the earth and actually form into a plant and actually build strength and girth in that plant in order to actually produce a little bit of a crop for us that we are now preparing to harvest. So we have this whole, I'm going to say, Scorpio season pushing us to change and to transform into the version of ourselves that we've been working on since mid-August. Now, this can be a conscious thing, it can be an unconscious thing, it really doesn't matter. We're all going through a certain transformation, certain change, certain metamorphosis because of the karmic timelines that the collective is now on. Mars sitting across from Jupiter in this way is definitely highlighting for us the tension on the choice points that we now have to choose from. Are we going to evolve? Are we going to push the boundaries? Are we going to continue to be inspired and motivated and determined to break away from the constructs, the restrictions, the blockages, the old realm and reality in order to try something new, to elevate our particular mission and purpose to something new? Or are we going to repeat a lot of the same old, continuing to get what it is that we've already got because of the fear, the doubt, the insecurities, the lack of action, the lack of perseverance, the lack of being bold and brave and courageous enough to continue to fight this particular conflict, not only taking place within us, not only taking place in our external realm, but taking place in the spiritual realms as well. This is putting us in an interesting dynamic to see that one path over the other, one choice, one decision over the other has a lot more potential for growth, for expansion, for belief, for blessings than the other. We're looking to test the boundaries of our comfort zone, and one path, one choice, one decision offers that opportunity more so than the other one does. The moon in Taurus then goes ahead, interacts with Venus. Venus rules over this Taurus energy. She rules over this eclipse season, and she is currently not in her happiest place in this Virgo energy. Now, a lot of the problem, and I hesitate to even use the word problem because it's not really a problem, in this Virgo energy is that the Virgo energy is ruled over by Mercury, ruler of the mental plane. So we're very, very much kind of dissecting, picking apart our lives, our heart space, what has changed within us, what is now making us happy, who is now making us happy, what needs to stay, what needs to go. It's a very, very much internalized processing type of energy. And this is why Venus doesn't enjoy being there. She's very lovey-dovey and affectionate. She wants to operate from that heart space, but it's pretty hard to do when you're all stuck up in the mental plane about it. So it's a good energy for us because the Virgo energy needs to identify the problems in order for us to fix it. It's the problem-solving, healing energy of the zodiac. So it's a necessary position for us to be in. However, we're a little bit more, I'm going to say, straightforward with the truth, which isn't always a bad thing. It is a more direct approach on what needs to stay, what needs to go, which again is not a bad thing. But it kind of lacks a lot of affection, which means that we're feeling kind of cold and rigid, I would say. And maybe cold and rigid, maybe not even in our own emotions, but in our attempt to connect with other people. There's not a whole lot of connection, affection, and intimacy there, which is also a very weird jam to be in Scorpio season, because Scorpio season wants to merge souls. We want that level of commitment and intimacy. That there's a lot of energy right now really pushing for independence over intimacy and really pushing for, I'm going to say, isolation over sitting with a bunch of people and sharing those particular energies until we get in alignment with this new version of self, with these new energies. So the moon interacting with Venus in this way is definitely putting a huge magnification on our heart space, and again, kind of on our head space, because we're taking an intellectual approach to how it is that we're feeling in order for us to identify the problems that are still alive and well in our heart space, because this is very much part of the true transformation and metamorphosis that we're currently kind of moving through. And again, this is the full moon. We're supposed to be illuminated to a new perspective, new information, new aha moments within ourselves. And so this is kind of setting the tone on where it is that we're doing a deep dive in our heart space and the problems that are still arising, the blockages, the challenges, if you will, on what we need to do in our physical realm to start mirroring back to us the happy place which we've already created within ourselves. 4:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon in Taurus energy sits across from, directly opposes the sun in Scorpio. And this is what gives us our full moon. It is a lunar eclipse. It's at 5 degrees, 9 minutes. There is an ending, a closing of a 2.5-year chapter where death, endings, and closures needed to take place in order for there to be a rebirth, a creation story, actually having the space to be built in. We see the endings, closure, and death energy through the Scorpio energy, and a lot of that is emotion and spiritually connected. And that, of course, is the shadow work that we've been doing in order to create the space for higher vibrations to actually infiltrate. The Taurus energy is about self-love, self-worth, what it is that we value, what it is that makes us happy. And through those realizations, we bring something new into form. And that is very much what we've been doing for the last 2.5 years. And this is now closing the door on that particular chapter, giving us a new foundation to actually be working off of, which now throws us into the Aries and Libran energy that, of course, we kicked off last spring. So Venus is going to go ahead shortly thereafter that particular full moon in her rulership peaks. We have Venus in Virgo energy making a very positive interaction with the North Node in Aries energy, which of course is our soul path, our destiny point, trying to get us on the right path in order to align with a new mission, a new truth, a new purpose. So having Venus interact with the North Node in this way is kind of telling that we did have some kind of realization, some kind of aha moment, some kind of epiphany pop off with that full moon building. And because there is a lot of swirling of karmic energies, we are definitely receiving downloads at a very high rate, processing them at an even higher rate. And Venus obviously has been sorting through her heart space and aligning with her head space, and now is kind of seeing where a path, a plan, a strategy is definitely forming. The last thing that we have going on here today is Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves in the deep, dark waters of this emotionally intuitive Scorpio energy, sitting across from, directly opposing Jupiter. So of course, Jupiter is retrograde in this Taurus energy. This is definitely going to put us in a different mind space. So, earlier we had Mars sit across from Jupiter. So this was kind of highlighting the agitation, the frustration that we were having because of the choice points, the decision points that we're currently sitting in, because we want to take action, but we're not in a time of taking action. That was kind of highlighting our inner action, inner passion, inner desire type of energy. Mercury opposing Jupiter is highlighting our mental plane, where it is now that we are now seeing two very distinct paths, choices, decisions on, again, whether we're going to evolve, move on, move forward, creating new opportunities for ourselves, or whether we're going to devolve and repeat a lot of the lessons that maybe we just didn't get the first time around. Maybe we didn't get it. Maybe we didn't integrate it. Maybe we didn't process it. Whatever the case may be, there's a lot of pressure on the mental plane because, of course, Jupiter magnifies, turns the volume all the way up on the particular energy and aspect in which he is currently interacting with. So we have to expect a lot of big feels, a lot of big thoughts, a lot of big ideas. And again, let me just say that there's a tendency to over exaggerate with the Jupiter aspect. So let's not kind of react, especially not in a full moon, especially not in a lunar eclipse, especially not in Taurus energy. Let's not react. Let's not get triggered. Let's not get activated. Let's act like a tree, root ourselves in, anchor ourselves in, ground ourselves in, and just sway with the energies until they pass.